Congressional hearings can be quite dry. Most don't even make the news. But the January 6th committee's 8 hearings and their new testimony presented to the nation has proved riveting. Now the committee is holding its 9th hearing next week with new witnesses, new evidence, and more material from the Secret Service that's emerged. We expect to be a part of this. And I have an announcement to share with you about some of my work on this topic, which, as you can tell, I'm excited to share with you. But let me continue our report on these reports and the power of them. Consider another high-water mark in this arena. The 2004 9/11 Commission report, exhaustive, meticulous, a probe into those terror attacks that murdered so many innocent Americans and upended society and changed foreign policy. That commission conducted over 1,200 interviews. They got over 2 million pages of material, we checked. And there were many questions that required investigation, from the role of America's supposed allies and the Saudis funding terror to the intelligence failures of more than one administration. That report was viewed as a vital contribution to our understanding. It actually moved over 150,000 copies its first day out. It helped correct the historical record, shattering myths that were driving conspiracy theories, the Times reported when it came out. Now, politics were divided then as now. There was still the controversial war in Iraq roiling America. The report had revelations and criticism for many political leaders. But again, this can happen sometimes. When a report is so thorough and so serious, it can't be ignored. It even draws bipartisan acclaim.
They've done a really good job of learning about our country.
We would do everything in our power to protect the American people, to fight terrorism.
Learning about what went wrong prior to September the 11th and making very solid, sound recommendations about how to move forward.
2.5 years ago, the 9/11 Commission took giant steps to do just that.
The 9/11 report also tackled issues beyond just enforcing the law. And there is a real parallel here. The government at the time was already prosecuting any 9/11 attackers it could find, just as today the government is prosecuting some of the January 6th attackers, certainly the people who trespassed at the Capitol. And the committee has heard from security experts on that. The history is instructive because it shows that reports like this have the power to instigate real change beyond just what the government's already doing. So yes, you got the prosecutions going on, but the 9/11 report went into broader terrain that mattered. It pushed other reforms that might prevent problems in the future. They proposed the creation of 2 intelligence entities, which were then established. It sparked new safety rules for flight passengers, for suspicious activity warnings, stronger air cargo screening, which was not going on before it was suggested in the recommendations of the probe, which were presented in the report. You get the takeaway here. When done right, the reports can really matter. Even though it almost sounds old-fashioned, what, there has to be a book? We should also note some of these types of reports have been seen as kind of a fizzle. There was a Tower Commission report about Iran-Contra, didn't have a lot of impact. The Warren report on the tragic assassination of President Kennedy and the law enforcement problems of the time, it didn't yield the widespread acclaim or impact of the 9/11 report. And the January 6th committee members, they know that history better than many. The precedent about past reports and how vital it can be to use that one shot at the end and try to get it right. We also know Congress sees this report as the capstone and the winding down of a special committee's work, like 9/11, because the committee has been focused on its endgame. There was an initial plan to finish all those hearings by summer and then release the report in September this month. That timeline's already been delayed. Chairman Thompson had mentioned a possible report in early fall. This week, he's saying the report will come before the November election, which has some D.C. reporters viewing that as a kind of a collision with politics or election attention. There are clues the report will go beyond these hearings, that it will release details that were not even covered in the hearings. Like the 9/11 report, we are told it will also push those policy reforms to safeguard and even MAGA-proof the transfer of power in our democracy. So this level of planning, even sometime intrigue about the report's very release, shows how seriously the committee views it, with members who stake their careers on the work, which doesn't just mean a hearing here or there or a headline here or there. It means the book, the report, the conclusions for history. We've heard from members who see this probe's work as possibly the most important thing they've done in their long careers. So as of tonight, I can tell you we know the what more than the when. As a journalist and a lawyer, I think the report could prove important because it is the place to lay out the entire evidence of the insurrection and the coup attempt. Let me explain what I mean by that, because it's not rhetoric. I mean this legally. We have many federal cases against insurrectionists. They do not go at the whole thing, and they're not supposed to. For fairness, those cases overseen by the Attorney General focus on each defendant's actions or the actions of any group that work together. And then juries decide the guilt of each person individually. And that's a principle of a fair justice system. No guilt by association, no group profiling. So those are the cases. And what that means is there is work left to be done. It means the report will be the most comprehensive subpoena-backed public accounting of this whole plot together. This plot to overthrow your democracy. Sounds like it will at least be worth a read. And like other government reports, people could read excerpts in the press when it comes out. We can follow the coverage. But people can also choose to get their own copy as a book. Which brings us to tonight's announcement for you. I am writing a new accounting of the coup conspiracy to overthrow the election by Donald Trump and his aides. And I'm publishing it along with the January 6th committee report when it comes out. This will be HarperCollins' official edition of the report. I'm showing you the forthcoming cover right here, and it will include what I'm writing, honestly, right now, my new original piece on the coup conspiracy to overthrow the election, available only in this book you see. So right now, you can go pre-order this book. It will go to you first when the report comes out, be that in the coming weeks or late fall or potentially later. You can go to Amazon or Barnes & Noble or any independent bookseller website. Search Melber Jan 6th and just click pre-order now. And then it'll come to you when it's ready. Now, you can also get it from your favorite independent bookseller in person when it comes out. I know different people like to do things different ways. Online, search Melber Jan 6, order it now, pre-order, or get it wherever you want to get your books. Your call. Either way, you'd be the first to get it. You'll have the whole January 6th report and my piece on the coup conspiracy. And I want to be transparent with you. Publishers require you list a release date. So you see here, the listings currently say October 18th. That is only a placeholder. As I told you tonight, the committee has not even announced a date. That's just an estimated date from the publisher. No one outside the committee yet knows the exact date. But if you order it, you will get the report, whatever date they choose, and my piece on the coup. You just search Melber Jan 6 online. Now, this is a HarperCollins book. It is independent. It's not affiliated with Congress. I also want you to know, while I'm obviously inviting you to read my piece on the coup and order this book, there are alternative ways to read the report, including downloading it online. So I do invite you to order it. I invite you to check out what I'm writing. But there's no monopoly or anything on the Jan 6 report or the ways to get it. So you can pre-order it now, or you can pass and wait. I promise you, we also will still cover the news of the report for you on The Beat and in our news segments on YouTube, which we do make available nightly to everyone for free. So order it or wait. Now you know. I'm just excited to share all this with you, and there, I did. I guess I made it through this whole announcement without quoting any lyrics, which is weird. Although, to paraphrase Rick Ross, so much action, you're gonna want to look. Print and paper, boy. I even wrote a book. Fact check, they wrote the book. I'm writing a 10,000-word foreword, but you got to start somewhere. As for the committee, well, this public phase of the hearings, the first primetime hearing, do you remember when that was? Would you guess, like, I don't know, half a year? It was actually just 3 months ago in June, and that's shaped the public understanding of what happened. It's been a busy couple of months there. And the committee has referred cases that already led to 2 indictments and 1 conviction of Steve Bannon, and prodded DOJ and other prosecutors about the work they're doing. This next final hearing is coming as soon as next week, although we don't have final details on witnesses or other things we're tracking. The last thing I'll say about this is I do expect that as this probe moves forward towards its finality, towards its legally required report under law, it's going to have to tackle the question of potential criminal referrals, implicitly or explicitly. It's going to make the case on policy reforms that would defend democracy, as we showed in our history lesson tonight, so that America might never get this close to a January 6th again. And the question that hangs over all of it is still the original question: will there be accountability for the top people who led the coup efforts, people so powerful they didn't have to step foot in the Capitol to spark an insurrection? They didn't have to show physical courage, because just like a lot of other criminal organizations, the top mob bosses, they're not even armed, even though they're involved in a lot of harm. And will there be any accountability for the beneficiary of what is a documented attempted coup, Donald Trump? Hey, I'm Ari Melber. Thanks for watching The Beat. I wanted to let you know I'm writing a foreword to the January 6th committee's full report, which is coming out soon from HarperCollins. You can go pre-order the book right now, and it'll come to you first when the report comes out in the fall or whenever the government releases it. Just search Melber Jan 6th on Amazon or your favorite independent book site and click pre-order. You'll be the first to get both the report and my new piece on the coup conspiracy. You can also go to melberbook.com and order it there.